Netflix's business story is one of a kind, an example so rare that you may not find a similar one anywhere. When Netflix began its journey, its competitor, Blockbuster, was a giant. With 60,000 employees and 9,000 stores worldwide, Blockbuster dominated the video rental market. Its annual revenue ran into the millions, even without much effort. On the other hand, Netflix was struggling. The company didn't even have enough money to buy a new sofa for its office. Frustrated by their financial situation, Netflix's founders considered selling their company to Blockbuster. But when they pitched the idea, Blockbuster's CEO laughed at them. History has a way of turning the tables. The same Blockbuster, once an immovable giant in the industry, was forced to its knees just a few years later. Netflix not only outpaced Blockbuster, but completely erased it from the market. Today, Netflix is a $288 billion company, but how did this happen? This story begins in 1997, when the internet business boom was underway. Jeff Bezos was revolutionizing e-commerce by selling books online. Inspired by this success, Mark Randolph also wanted to start an internet-based business. The challenge, deciding what kind of business to launch. For months, Mark carried a notebook, jotting down new business ideas wherever he went. He shared these ideas with his friend, Reed Hastings. From selling pet food to baseball bats, Mark considered everything. But none of these ideas impressed Reed. Reed wanted a business model where they would need to find a customer only once, and that same customer would generate recurring revenue. After months of brainstorming, they finally found an idea that made sense: video rentals. At the time, videotapes were the primary source of home entertainment. People would visit their nearest Blockbuster store on weekends, spend hours selecting movies, and rent them. If they failed to return the tapes on time, they had to pay hefty late fees. Ironically, Reed Hastings himself had recently been charged a $40 late fee for returning a rental late. This moment sparked an idea. What if movies could be rented online without the hassle of late fees? Reed believed the video rental industry was ripe for change, but there was a major problem. Video cassettes were bulky and expensive to ship. Worse, they could easily get damaged during transit. These logistical issues threatened to kill their business idea before it even began. A few weeks later, a breakthrough came through a tech magazine. They learned about a new technology: DVDs. These discs were lighter, more durable, and far cheaper to ship than bulky VHS tapes. Reed had an epiphany. Instead of renting videotapes, why not rent DVDs by mail? The plan was simple. Customers would receive DVDs via mail along with a prepaid return envelope, making returns hassle-free. But there was still one major problem. They had no money to launch the business. Somehow, they managed to scrape together enough to set up a modest office with second-hand furniture and folding tables. Employees were hired at low salaries, with the promise of future company shares if the business succeeded. Launch day. At exactly 9 a.m. on launch day, they activated their website. To celebrate each new order, they set up a small bell in the office. The first order came from Mark himself, just to test the system. A minute later, the bell rang again. This time, it was a real customer. By the end of the day, they had received 137 orders, far exceeding their expectations. However, technical issues plagued their website, causing frequent crashes. They realized they needed to fix these problems quickly to avoid losing customers. Despite their efforts, DVD rentals generated only $11,000 in revenue. Customers preferred buying DVDs outright rather than renting them. To attract more users to the rental model, Mark and Reed had offered two options: purchase a DVD for $25 or rent it for $4. While DVD sales took off, rentals lagged behind. A few weeks later, Amazon reached out. Jeff Bezos, having already conquered the online book market, was now interested in the DVD business. He invited Netflix's founders to discuss a possible acquisition. But Mark and Reed were focused on DVD rentals rather than sales. Instead of selling their company, they decided to double down on their vision. They invested heavily in promoting Netflix's DVD rental service, but their early marketing campaign was a disaster. They had placed coupon codes outside DVD player boxes, allowing people to rent 10 DVDs for free. However, since the codes were outside the box, even those who didn't buy DVD players used them, leading to huge losses. At the same time, the Monica Lewinsky scandal dominated American headlines, capturing public attention and overshadowing Netflix's promotional efforts. Still, Netflix pushed forward. Their breakthrough came with the introduction of a subscription-based model, allowing customers to watch unlimited movies for a fixed monthly fee. This innovation changed everything. Blockbuster, meanwhile, was raking in around $800 million annually from late fees alone. Since their revenue heavily relied on physical stores, they never saw Netflix as a real threat. At one point, Mark and Reed managed to secure a meeting with Blockbuster's CEO. They pitched their company and named their price $50 million. Blockbuster's CEO laughed in their faces. Realizing Blockbuster had no interest, Mark and Reed left empty-handed, but Netflix continued evolving. While Blockbuster belatedly launched its own DVD by mail service, it was too late. Netflix was already working on something even bigger, streaming movies directly over the internet. By eliminating DVDs entirely, Netflix pioneered the world's first-ever video-on-demand platform. Blockbuster, still stuck in its old ways, failed to adapt quickly enough. They had spent years squeezing money from customers through late fees and even charged extra for rewinding VHS tapes. This reluctance to embrace change was the same mistake Nokia made in the mobile industry. Blockbuster's failure to innovate ultimately led to its downfall. Today, Netflix operates worldwide, boasting millions of subscribers. The company is valued at over $288 billion and generates approximately $19 billion in annual revenue. The $50 million price at which Blockbuster could have bought Netflix outright is now just a fraction of what Netflix earns in a single year. Netflix's success story is a testament to adaptability, innovation, and the power of forward-thinking leadership. It proves that in the ever-changing business world, those who fail to evolve will inevitably be left behind. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to subscribe.